The descent into darkness. The exploration vessel, Odyssey, glided silently through the vastness of space, its sleek design a marvel of engineering. Inside, a diverse crew buzzed with anticipation, each member eager to uncover the mysteries of distant worlds. At the helm was Captain Yaren, a seasoned explorer with an insatiable thirst for discovery. He had led many missions, but this one felt different. This time, they were venturing into an oceanic planet, a realm where water reigned supreme and land was but a distant memory. As Yaren sat in his command chair, he glanced around at his human crew. 6 scientists, each brilliant in their own right, were gathered around their consoles, eyes flickering between data readouts and holographic displays. Despite their expertise, unease hung in the air like a thick fog. They were all aware that this was uncharted territory, an ocean world with no landmasses to anchor their expectations. Deep scan indicates liquid oceans and heavy atmospheric vapor, Yaren announced, trying to inject enthusiasm into his voice. This planet is entirely covered by water. Just imagine what we might find beneath those waves. His words elicited mixed reactions. Some crew members exchanged nervous glances, while others seemed captivated by the prospect of discovery. One scientist, Dr. Leela Chen, broke the silence with a hesitant tone. "Captain, are we sure it's safe? We've never encountered anything like this before." Yaren understood her concern, but felt compelled to reassure her. "Every mission carries risks, Leela. But think about it. New ecosystems, undiscovered species. This is what we trained for." He stood up, his excitement palpable as he moved toward the observation deck. The ship shuddered slightly as it entered the planet's atmosphere. Yaren could feel a rush of adrenaline coursing through him. This was what he lived for, the thrill of exploration. As he reached the observation window, he peered out at the swirling clouds below. The view was mesmerizing. Shades of blue and green danced across the horizon as sunlight pierced through layers of mist. "Prepare for descent," Yaren commanded, his voice steady despite his racing heart. He watched as his crew scrambled to follow orders, their apprehension palpable but overshadowed by curiosity. The vessel broke through the cloud cover, revealing an endless expanse of dark water stretching as far as the eye could see. It was eerily beautiful, smooth like glass yet foreboding in its depth. As they descended further, an unsettling silence enveloped them. Even the ship's engines seemed subdued against this vast backdrop. "Look at that!" shouted Marcus, one of the engineers, pointing at something moving just beneath the surface. A fleeting shadow that vanished before anyone could fully comprehend it. Yaren's heart raced at this first glimpse of potential life beneath these waters. "We need to get closer," he urged, feeling an overwhelming desire to dive into this unknown world. As they approached their designated landing zone, a small area devoid of visible obstacles, the ship trembled violently. Alarms blared as turbulence rocked them back and forth. "Hold steady," Yaren shouted over the cacophony. He gripped his console tightly as he fought against nature's fury outside. The ship finally landed with a heavy thud on its stabilizers, sending vibrations through its hull. Yaren unbuckled himself and rushed toward the exit hatch, eager to be among those who would step onto this alien world for the first time. "Captain, wait," Dr. Chen called after him, her voice laced with anxiety. But Yaren was already climbing out onto the observation deck, determined not to show fear before his crew. The moment he emerged into daylight, he was struck by an overwhelming sense of awe mixed with trepidation. Below him lay a vast ocean that shimmered under weak sunlight filtered through thick fog, an ethereal sight that felt both inviting and ominous. "Isn't it incredible?" He breathed out loud without waiting for a response. His crew joined him on deck. Their expressions ranged from wonder to dread as they took in their surroundings. "There are no waves," Marcus muttered incredulously. Yaren nodded enthusiastically. "Exactly. No orbital bodies induce tides here. It's perfectly still." He gestured broadly at the smooth surface below them. "Beautiful, serene." Yet beneath that beauty lay an unsettling truth. The dense fog that surrounded them seemed almost alive, creeping closer with every passing moment until visibility dropped below 20 yards. Dr. Chen turned pale as she scanned her readings again. "Captain, I think we should reconsider our approach." But Yaren was already lost in thought. He refused to let fear dictate their mission. "We're explorers. We can't turn back now." As they prepared for their first steps onto this alien shore, or rather into its depths, Yaren couldn't shake off a nagging feeling that something lurked beneath those calm waters waiting for them. This marks part one of the Black Tide. Terror emerges from the depths. Each subsequent part will delve deeper into their journey and encounters on this mysterious oceanic planet, while exploring themes of human resilience and curiosity amidst terror and uncertainty. The first encounter. As the crew of the Odyssey stood on the observation deck, the eerie stillness of the ocean enveloped them like a shroud. Captain Yaren, still buzzing with excitement from their descent, turned to face his crew. "Let's get our equipment ready. We need to gather data and explore this incredible world." Dr. Lila Chen, still visibly shaken, hesitated. "Captain, shouldn't we conduct a thorough analysis of the environment first? We don't know what's down there." Yaren waved away her concerns, eager to dive into the unknown. "We're explorers, Lila. We can't let fear hold us back. Let's suit up and prepare for our first dive." The crew reluctantly complied, donning their diving suits and checking their gear. As they prepared to enter the water, Yaren felt a rush of adrenaline. This was what he lived for, venturing into uncharted territories. The descent into darkness. With a deep breath, Yaren led the way down the ship's access hatch and into the water. The moment he submerged, an overwhelming sense of wonder washed over him. The ocean was a vibrant tapestry of colors, illuminated by bioluminescent organisms that danced around him like stars in a dark sky. "Look at that!" Marcus exclaimed, pointing at a cluster of glowing creatures drifting nearby. "This is incredible." The crew swam deeper, their lights cutting through the darkness as they ventured into the depths. Strange shapes loomed in the distance, massive structures that resembled underwater mountains rising from the ocean floor. "Are those ruins?" Leela asked, her voice barely audible over the sound of rushing water. Yaren nodded, his heart racing with anticipation. "It looks like we've stumbled upon something significant." Mysterious phenomena. As they approached the ruins, an unsettling feeling crept over Yaren. The structures were ancient and covered in strange symbols that glowed faintly in their lights. The air was thick with an otherworldly energy that made his skin tingle. "Let's take some readings," Darren suggested, his voice tense with excitement and apprehension. He began scanning the area with his device. Suddenly, a loud rumble echoed through the water, shaking the very ground beneath them. The crew exchanged worried glances as debris floated past them. "What was that?" Leela shouted, her eyes wide with fear. Before anyone could respond, a massive shadow swept overhead. A creature unlike anything they had ever seen before glided through the water with terrifying grace. Its body shimmered like liquid silver, and its eyes glowed a haunting blue. "The storm approaches. Get back to the ship," Yaren ordered, instinctively leading his team toward the surface as panic set in. The creature twisted and turned in an elegant dance, seemingly unfazed by their presence. As they ascended rapidly, dark clouds gathered above them. Thunder rumbled ominously in the distance. The once serene atmosphere shifted dramatically as waves began to churn violently around them. "Captain, we need to get out of here," Marcus yelled as he struggled against the current. Yaren gritted his teeth and pushed forward. "Hold on. We're almost there." Just as they reached the surface, a powerful wave crashed over them, sending them tumbling back into the depths. The world around them became chaos. Water surged violently as they fought to regain control. Desperate measures. Yaren struggled to orient himself amidst swirling currents. He could hear his crew's frantic voices echoing through their comms as they tried to regroup. Darren. Leela. Where are you? He shouted into his communicator. We're here. Leela replied breathlessly. But we're being pulled away. Yaren's heart raced as he spotted them struggling against a powerful undertow. He swam toward them with all his strength, reaching out to grab Leela's arm just as she was about to be swept away. Hold on, he yelled as he pulled her close. Together, they'd fought against the current toward where Marcus was trying to stabilize himself against a nearby rock formation. Over here, Marcus shouted through gritted teeth, his face strained with effort. With sheer determination and teamwork, they managed to reach Marcus and huddle together against the rock for support. But just as they caught their breath, another wave crashed down upon them, a massive wall of water that threatened to engulf everything in its path. A glimmer of hope. In that moment of despair, Yaren spotted something shimmering beneath the surface, a faint glow that seemed to pulse rhythmically. Without thinking twice, he pointed toward it. We need to get down there. It might be our only chance. The crew nodded in agreement despite their exhaustion and fear. They dove deeper once more, pushing against the relentless current toward that mysterious light. As they swam closer, Yaren felt an inexplicable connection to whatever lay ahead, a sense of purpose guiding him through this chaos. They finally broke through into a calm pocket of water where visibility returned. The revelation. What they found took their breath away. An ancient underwater city bathed in ethereal light surrounded by glowing flora and fauna that pulsed gently like a heartbeat. Structures towered above them, majestic spires adorned with intricate carvings, depicting scenes of harmony between creatures of land and sea. This is unbelievable, Leela whispered in awe as she gazed around her. Yaren felt a mix of exhilaration and trepidation wash over him. This was not just an exploration. It was a revelation about what lay beneath these dark waters. Yet even amidst this beauty lingered an unsettling feeling. Shadows danced at the edges of their vision. Something lurked just beyond their sightline. We need to document this, Darren urged urgently while taking readings on his device. But before anyone could respond or move forward cautiously into this new world, a deafening roar erupted from above. The creature they had encountered earlier reappeared from behind one of the towering structures. As Part 2 concludes, tension mounts for Yaren and his crew as they confront both awe-inspiring discoveries and lurking dangers beneath the ocean's surface. Each decision they make will shape not only their survival, but also their understanding of this mysterious world and what it holds within its depths. Secrets beneath the surface. As the crew of the Odyssey regrouped after their harrowing encounter, a mix of exhilaration and dread filled the water around them. The ancient underwater city they had stumbled upon shimmered with an ethereal glow, its towering spires beckoning them closer. Captain Yaren, still reeling from the sight of the magnificent ruins, felt a surge of determination. They had come here to explore, and explore they would. The City of Wonders. Look at those carvings, Leela exclaimed, her voice echoing through their communicators. She swam closer to one of the structures, her light illuminating intricate designs that seemed to tell a story of an ancient civilization. This is incredible. It looks like they had a deep connection with the ocean. Yaren nodded, his heart racing with excitement. We need to document everything. This could be a significant discovery for humanity. He motioned for the crew to spread out and begin their observations. As they swam through the ruins, Yaren marveled at the beauty surrounding them. Coral-like structures intertwined with stone, creating a breathtaking blend of nature and architecture. Schools of colorful fish darted in and out of the crevices, seemingly unbothered by their presence. But as they ventured deeper into the city, an unsettling feeling crept over Yaren. The shadows seemed to grow longer, and he couldn't shake the sensation that they were being watched. Unearthing history, Darren, who had been scanning the area with his equipment, suddenly called out, "Captain, you need to see this." He pointed toward a large archway adorned with glowing symbols. Yaren swam over, curiosity piquing his interest. The symbols pulsed softly as if responding to their presence. "What do you think it means?" he asked. Darren studied his readings intently. I'm not sure yet, but it seems to be some sort of entrance, or perhaps a gateway. Leela joined them, her eyes wide with wonder. We should go inside. There might be more artifacts or even records of their history. Yaren hesitated, but ultimately nodded in agreement. Let's proceed with caution. Stay close together. As they entered through the archway, they were enveloped in darkness, their lights casting eerie shadows on the walls. The air felt thick with anticipation. Every heartbeat echoed in their ears as they swam deeper into the unknown. The Chamber of Echoes. Inside, they discovered a vast chamber filled with strange artifacts, crystals that glowed with an inner light, intricate sculptures depicting sea creatures unlike any they had seen before, and murals that illustrated scenes of harmony between land and sea. This is amazing, Leela exclaimed as she examined a sculpture resembling a giant cephalopod. These beings must have had incredible knowledge of their environment. Yaren felt a sense of pride swell within him. This was what exploration was all about, unearthing secrets long buried beneath the waves. But as he turned to share his thoughts with his crew, he noticed something unsettling. The air felt charged, as if a storm was brewing just beyond their sight. Suddenly, Darren's device began beeping erratically. Captain, I'm picking up unusual energy readings coming from deeper within this chamber. What kind of readings? Yaren asked sharply. High levels of electromagnetic activity, Darren replied, his voice tense. It could be dangerous. A hidden threat. Before Yaren could respond, an ominous rumble echoed through the chamber. The walls trembled as dust and debris fell from above. Everyone out, Yaren shouted as he signaled for his crew to retreat. They swam back toward the archway just as cracks began to form in the ceiling above them. A surge of panic coursed through Yaren. They needed to escape before it collapsed entirely. As they reached the entrance, a blinding flash illuminated the chamber. A pulse of energy surged outward, knocking them off balance and sending them tumbling into darkness. Awakening darkness. When Yaren regained his senses, he found himself floating in murky water outside the ruins. The once serene environment now felt hostile. Shadows danced ominously around him as he struggled to orient himself. Leela, Marcus, Darren, he called out desperately into his communicator. Here. Leila's voice crackled through the static. We're okay, but something's wrong. I think we awakened something. Yaren's heart raced as he recalled the energy pulse that had erupted from within the chamber. They had disturbed something ancient, something that might not want to be disturbed. Regroup at the ship, he ordered firmly. We need to get out of here before whatever it is finds us. The chase begins. As they made their way back to the Odyssey, Yaren couldn't shake off an overwhelming sense of dread. The ocean around them felt alive. Currents shifted unexpectedly, as if guiding them away from safety. Suddenly, a shadow darted past him, too fast for him to identify. Panic surged within him as he urged his crew to swim faster. Keep moving, he shouted, glancing back over his shoulder just in time to see a massive shape rising from below. A creature born from nightmares loomed behind them. It was colossal. Its body glistened like obsidian under their lights, while its eyes glowed menacingly in shades of blue and green. Tentacles unfurled from its sides as it surged forward with terrifying speed. A desperate escape. Faster! We need to reach the ship, Yaren yelled as adrenaline coursed through him. The crew pushed themselves harder against the water's resistance. Fear propelled them forward like never before. They could hear the creature's roar echoing through the depths, a sound filled with rage and hunger that sent chills down their spines. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, Yaren spotted the Odyssey shimmering ahead. The safety of their vessel was within reach. With one final burst of energy, they surged toward it and scrambled aboard just as tentacles lashed out behind them, crashing against the ship's hull. Regrouping. Panting heavily, Yaren slammed shut the hatch behind them and locked it tight. The crew stood breathless on deck, hearts racing as they processed what had just transpired. What was that thing? Marcus gasped between breaths. Yaren shook his head in disbelief. I don't know, but we've awakened something we shouldn't have. Darren rushed over to his console and began analyzing data from their dive. The energy readings were off the charts. Whatever we disturbed down there is powerful. Leela looked at Yaren with wide eyes filled with fear and determination. What do we do now? Yaren took a deep breath. This was only the beginning of their journey into this oceanic world filled with secrets and dangers they could never have anticipated. We prepare for what comes next, he said resolutely. We need answers about this creature and what lies beneath these waters. As Part 3 concludes, Yaren and his crew face not only awe-inspiring discoveries, but also terrifying threats lurking beneath the surface. Their resolve will be tested as they seek understanding amidst chaos. A journey that promises both peril and revelation awaits them in these uncharted depths.